Hello and welcome to the Borealis Experience. I'm your host Aurora and I'm very happy to be spending some time with you today. I hope you're doing well. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can find my podcast. And if you like it, if it brings you peace and value to your life, please leave a review. If you want to connect with me, contact me on Facebook. Aurora Eggert is my name. Or on Instagram, The Borealis Experience. I'm glad to connect, answer questions, or receive requests from you for episodes. If you feel like you need a one-on-one Zoom session or a meditation together with me, or you send me questions, you can contact me over my Patreon page where I'm offering all kinds of services to support you if you struggle at the moment. I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a licensed therapist. I am a regular woman who went through some stuff and is ready to help people and relate with people and make people feel better throughout this tough time. It is very hard for me at the moment to not get affected by the news. I have contacts all over the world and people ask for help and tell me their stories and tell me what the things are they want to change in their life and their community. And even in my country here in Canada, things are, very weird at the moment. And I keep reminding myself of the nurse and the doctor, because this is the position in society that I can most relate to, being a nurse, some kind of a healer. And if you look at nurses and doctors, for instance, who go to war and help soldiers, they don't follow the news. They see people coming in with injuries and they have their brain totally focused on the task at hand, on what has to be done. And what I want to say by that is, in my case, if I was to get too involved with watching the news right now, and too agitated, too anxious, too angry, too upset, I couldn't do my job well. I couldn't be here for you the way I am. I'm trusting people out there in leadership to make the right decisions for all of us. And I'm here for people who are struggling anyways and who need help and support, who have lost their sense of self and maybe happiness, and help them back on tracks. But if I don't protect myself from all this horrible stuff that's going on out there, I will not be able to sustain my little podcast and mission here. So all this to say is that sometimes we need to switch off the news. Sometimes we just have to focus on the people that are around us, immediately around us. Your family, your extended family, your friends, your co-workers, and your neighbors are the most important people that influence your life. And make sure that you're there for them. Make sure that you give them a listen. Make sure that you open up to them and are vulnerable, because that's the support net you really have to be able to count on. So, today's episode is about your self-worth and consistency. And everything I share here is my experience, is how I learned things along my journey. And I'm sharing this with you in order to help you understand yourself better. And then for you to, in the future, make better decisions for yourself and your community. I'm by no means a professional counselor or doctor or whatever you can think of. I'm just someone who likes to share and care, so to say. And today I want to talk about consistency and self-worth, because this is what I've learned to focus on when I wanted to get out of addiction. Some of you might know that I was anorexic, so I was battling with an eating disorder for a couple years in my teens, and was able to pull myself out there. And it was self-worth that healed me. I had to start focusing on myself again and work on my issues of not feeling enough, not feeling good enough, not feeling as if I belong, and not feeling understood. I had to work on that in order to let go of my addiction to having to control food and wanting to be super skinny. Today I can say I'm healed, but that illness will always be a part of my life. And I want to help people out who are maybe struggling with that kind of illness or addiction, two things that are very, very close together. And I want to support people who are maybe ready to start a business and ready to be successful in life, but they don't know how to stay on track, stay motivated. So maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you have started something in the past and you were very excited. You got all the equipment that it needs. And then a couple weeks in, a couple months in, maybe you start feeling unmotivated and doubts are starting to creep in. And one step leads to the other and you start losing interest. And then all that beautiful equipment lands in the corner. Why does that happen? I feel it happens sometimes when we make too radical of a change. It can also be when it comes to weight loss and you radically change your food habits, your exercising habits, and not in a way that is sustainable. And then you start making little, mistakes. You start being weak a little bit at some point, and then from there the guilt kicks in and the self-doubt and your self-worth issues totally take over. So the most important thing when you want to start something new or when you want to get out of an addiction is that you learn to focus in on your self-worth again. There's lots of really good meditations out there, and I want to provide you with more meditations of that kind here in the future. And they can help you to watch your thoughts and to recognize maybe how destructive even your thoughts are towards yourself. And once you notice these thoughts and feelings that come up when you sit in meditation with yourself, you can work on changing it and kind of building new neural pathways. Your brain, your mind are two different things, and your mind can be trained and reshaped at any age. Age is really no excuse, and after how many years of struggling with an addiction, you can slowly learn to replace destructive thoughts with constructive thoughts and maneuver yourself in very small baby steps into the direction that you want. So when it comes to consistency and you start something out, you need to make little steps that are sometimes maybe even laughable. So if you want to start a business, maybe you start talking to people first who've done it before. You start reading books. You start collecting information about what you want to do. And at every end of the week, you sit down for 15 minutes and you write down everything that you've done to get closer to your goal. And then the most important thing is that you reward yourself with something healthy. Of course, not with alcohol or sweets or porn or anything of that sort, but you maybe call up a friend who you have a very good connection with and you share those news with that person and you tell them that you're proud of yourself. Or you sit down with yourself and really tap yourself emotionally and mentally on the shoulder and celebrate yourself a little bit. I feel in my society I live in here, in the Western society, in Europe even, it's the same thing. We tend to relate to people on a very negative self-image. Like, oh, I'm so fat. Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh, I've done this mistake again. And then you laugh, and then the other person tells their story of how stupid and ugly and unsuccessful they are. And we do that in order to not intimidate the other person. We do that because we want to relate with the other person and have something in common. But you have to have these people in your life where you can celebrate yourself and you celebrate them and you boost each other to, how do you say that? You boost each other to levels that you would never have dreamt of to reach. So I've mentioned that in my last episode. It is so important to keep track of your little steps that you make during a week or two, and then to keep in contact with people who cheer for you. And if you have nobody who cheers for you, and this is how most people start, you have to be your own biggest cheerleader. You have to know that you're either losing weight to feel better, not to look better, to feel better, or you're trying to get rid of your addiction because you want to feel better about yourself, or you start a new business because you want to have a purpose in society. You found your purpose and you want to act upon it and you're proud of it and no one can hold you back because you know for certain that you're bringing value to people's life with your passion. Another thing that is extremely important is that you're aware of into what kind of family dynamic are you born into? Because as some people, I keep repeating myself, are born into families that are not necessarily in alignment with the individual's value. Now, what do you do if you are born an artist and you are born into a family of intellectual and bankers? This is awesome opportunity for evolution and for growth, because you can learn so much from your family when it comes to intellectual stuff and banking stuff, so numbers and stuff. At the same time, fiercely go for your mission to be an artist out here in this world and cheer for yourself first. And once you're out there and people can see that you're being authentic and that you have your own back, you will gain followers. I promise you, this is a natural thing that happens if you are brave enough to step up to your needs and your purpose and your potential, and you go out there and share yourself with the world. So this is the self-worth part. Your self-worth, your doubt on the other side, will extremely test you on every level once you start doing something outside of your comfort zone. And I'm telling you this today because I want you to be able to take shortcuts. I want you to not waste time just like I did it and continue living a life that you don't really want to be living and working a job that you don't really want to be working. Believe in yourself, believe in your potential to touch people's hearts and to positively influence this beautiful planet. And remind yourself every time self-doubts are creeping in that I am here for you to help you along your way and to encourage you, to remind you of who you are, and to keep you on track whenever you want to jump off because the path is getting a little bit too rough. Every path is getting rough if you're deciding to leave your comfort zone. It is perfectly normal. It is just all about how you react to it. If you throw the towel in and think that you're not made for it, I'm telling you today, you are wrong. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep protecting your dreams and fighting for them, if not on an hourly basis. Self-worth and consistency. Consistency is being created when you organize yourself, when you know that in the morning you get up and the first thing that you do is not jump on your phone and scroll through Facebook, but sit with yourself and think about or write out what you want to achieve this day. And be as precise as you want to be. It doesn't matter. It is all about having a routine in the morning and being straight up with yourself of where you want to go. And then at the end of the day, the most important thing again is that you don't beat yourself up if you haven't accomplished every single thing on your little morning list, but you see what you have done, and I'm sure you have done more to reach your goal than if you had not written out those couple to-do things in the morning. I hope you're getting my point here. It is about setting a certain tone for yourself in the morning to get yourself ready, to get yourself focused. And then at the end of the day to see, okay, I got some things of the list done, and it is way more as if I didn't write things out in the morning. And you will see over time healthy nutrition, good sleeping habits, perfect social interactions. And they don't always have to be perfect, of course, but you want to aim for the people that are doing good in your life and that are inspiring to you. Keeping your goal in your mind and being focused and not being distracted by social media or Netflix or like some sort of, recreational drugs that help you when you feel depressed. When you keep those little steps, those little advices that I'm providing you here close to your heart, I promise you, you can make changes. You can get closer to your goal. And we are all animals, we sense people's vibes. And when a person is glowing for something, then they gain momentum, they gain followers, they gain success, not overnight, but over time. It is a process that takes time, but once the ball is rolling, the ball is rolling. I hope I was able to provide you with valuable tools here. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to have you reach out to me and start a discussion about things that might not resonate with you or resonate with you. And I'd love to get to know my listeners and know how I can serve you even more in depth. I want you to feel free. I want you to feel authentic. I want you to make decisions in the future that serve your highest self, that help you to reach your dreams and goals. Thank you for being here with me. I'm sending my love out to you, and I will be back there very soon again. Bye-bye. Take care.